I'm Stitch the Alchemist, and I'm happy to be alive. Today, we're going to talk about ghosts in the Dresden Files RPG, but more importantly, ghosts as player characters in the Dresden Files RPG. What is a ghost? Well, just like in a lot of these fantasy settings, a ghost is a dead person who refuses to move on. We see in one of the books that ghosts are kind of offered a choice sometimes, in fact rarely, to come back and, try to get whatever it is done. There's two problems with that, though. The first is that this ghost is not the actual soul, the actual spirit of the deceased. It's more like a memory of everything the person is, so powerful that it can manifest after death. The second problem with this is that, well, as a ghost, you can't interact with anything. The best you're going to be able to get are maybe screwing around with machines. So, even if we're not talking about player characters here, that's kind of bad as an enemy, right? Wrong! You see, the way the game works, and the way it works in the books, is that a ghost can interact with the real world if they so choose. The only problem is it takes a lot of effort. And in doing so, the ghost will probably grow insane. In fact, only the most powerful of ghosts are even able to summon up this ability, which means now you have powerful, insane ghosts running around. It's a problem. And ghosts don't interact with the spirit world, per se, as much as they interact on, a second layer of the earth. They can see everything mortal that's going on around them. They can still enter buildings and go for rides in cars and whatnot, but at the same time, they're also seeing all of the other ghosts around them. And some other supernatural things occasionally, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that ghosts can interact with each other in the same way that you or I could interact. The ghosts can hurt each other if they so choose. They can ally themselves, they can have friendly conversation, they can make friends. But what happens if a ghost gets hurt? Well, they lose memories. Memories are like currency in the afterlife. Your memories are how you are able to craft things, like, say, a weapon or a vehicle or anything else. You take a powerful memory that you possess and you use it to hurt another ghost. That ghost then bleeds memories. It's very strange and very confusing, but it also makes for very interesting gameplay if your players can wrap their minds around what's going on. An example given in the books is that the ghost of a wizard will still be able to cast his spells in the afterlife, but he's spending memories or what it is to be himself to do so. So, while he is still powerful, he slowly fades away over time. And you can see that the more you lose your memories, the less real you become. The final aspect I'd like to talk about being a ghost before we get to move on to player characters is that ghosts kind of, just like with magic, have to believe in what they're doing. To an extent, for instance, a character in the novels asks why he is able to sit in a car and go for a ride, and a second ghost says something along the lines of, well, you think you're supposed to be able to, and now you're thinking about it. So naturally he's thinking about it, and he falls through the vehicle while it's moving. He has to be rescued. So that can lead to several layers of interesting gameplay, especially if one of your players is a ghost and they're a very new ghost and they're confused about how all of this works, and they'll maybe like walk into walls because they think they have to use the door, or they'll keep falling through the floor because they can't help but think, why am I not falling through the floor if I can walk through? Boom! So that's fun. So this is going to be different than the last two videos on monsters I did, because I'm going to be talking about what it is to be a player character. Just as I suspected, I grabbed the wrong book. Give me a moment, please. Sorry, they did a little bit of an update on ghosts in this one, and I wanted to be sure. So, ghosts need to take very specific powers at character creation. That being spirit form, and that's kind of it. So you need spirit form, poltergeist, swift transition, and mana static as powers in order to kind of be an effective ghost. So that's 8 points of refresh, which I don't know if you know this, but that's very powerful. I will go over actual character creation eventually, but I just wanted to point out that building a ghost has a lot of prerequisites. And that's not to mention the role-playing downsides and upsides of playing as a ghost. No one can see you. The other players have no reason to suspect that you're there in character, because you probably can't help either without hurting yourself. And you're going to be hurting yourself a lot to help. The only thing that you can do that's really, really powerful is that you can go around in the spirit world and start asking other ghosts if they've seen something that you're looking for. You might be able to contact supernatural entities that the others can't, because you are a spirit and not bound by the laws of mortals. But there's at least one or two very, 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 very easy ways around the players not being able to see you. First and foremost, talk to your game master, talk to the other players at character creation, and ask if anyone wants to be an ectomancer. That is a wizard who specializes in dealing with ghosts. They will be able to see you, they will be able to hear you, they might even be able to interact with you a little bit. This requires a lot of trust between you and that other player, because an ectomancer can basically take control of your ghostly character. He can move you around against your will. So, again, trust is required. The other way to do this is, again, just talk to your GM, talk to the other players, and see if anyone wants to take an aspect that would let them see dead people. In fact, you might even name the aspect, I see dead people. That would be awesome. Like, kind of like ectomancy, but you can't choose to turn it on and off. And that would give a lot of interesting compels to the GM as well. The GM could be handing out fate points like candy and being like, yeah, ghosts just keep bothering you. Here, keep taking these fate points. Ghosts keep wanting you to solve all of their problems for them. They won't leave you alone. They won't shut up. You're always distracted. Anyway, so that's kind of just scratching the surface of what it is to be a ghost in the Dresden Files, and what you can do to make them better for players. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.